Welcome to the weekly shir of the Zer Shimshon. This is Chaf Daled Menachem Mar Cheshvan, excuse me, and it's Mar Cheshvan Tavshin Pei Gimel, and this is Parshas Chayai. It is also the yahrzeit of the famous Goen and the famous person that is still today causing Yeshua's Gedolos for Klal Yisrael. His name is Gedaliah Moshe ben Shleimer, the Zvila Rebbe, and we have been to his kever many times. He has a special procedure that he guarantees to have a Yeshua's if you come Monday, Thursday, Monday, like that in succession, and say special tehillim by his kever. And there people have posted all the Yeshuas that they have. It's amazing. It's got thousands or tens of thousands of Yeshuas. So Zchus Yagin, we should be learning in the Zchus, even though we're doing the Sefer Zer Shimshon, but it's also a segula to do for other tzaddikim. Anyway, I wanted to do a longer one, which is really geschmack, but I'm going to do a short one because it's Erev Shabbos and it's a short Shabbos. In the winter, people don't have a lot of time. So this is an interesting one. Eliezer's sign. What was that? Let it be that the maiden whom I shall say, please tip your jug and so I may drink. And who replies? She replies, drink and I will even water your camels. Okay, so Esther Shasei Gam Gamalecha Ashke Oisa Hachta Lavdecha Yitzchak Vayikash Kilo Hagvalim Nishtais Vayikach Aisha Nezmazat. So that's the drink, and I will even give you your camels. So her you will have chosen for your servant Yitzchak. And when the camels have finished drinking, the man took the golden ring and gave it to her. Why so fast? Why so without even asking her where she was from? Was Eliezer relying on a miracle? Why should he do such a thing, especially in a matter as important as choosing a wife for Yitzchak? He was given the task by Avram Avinu to find Yitzchak a wife. This better be very serious. Furthermore, did Eliezer specifically choose watering the camels as a sign? The Midrash in Parshas Rabbah tells us that the camels belonging to Avram Avinu were a special caliber of beast. The kind of animals that wouldn't graze in a field that didn't belong to their master. Much like the donkey Rabbi Pinchas ben Yair, which refused to eat the untithed grain. Knowing this, we can suggest that Eliezer must have said to himself that the Rebbeinu Shalom would not bring about a problematic situation through the animal of a righteous man. He was confident that if the woman he approached was not suitable for his master's son, then for the camels would refuse to drink her water. Since doing so would cause a disaster. If they did drink, however, then he would know that she was the right choice for Yitzchak. Bottom line, there was no way that Avram's camels would steer him wrong in the wrong direction by drinking what they shouldn't. That's why the pasuk concludes with the words, when the camels had finished drinking, the man took the golden nose ring. Clear proof that Eliezer waited until the camels finished drinking before presenting Rivka with the gifts. It was only once the camels agreed to drink that Eliezer was sure that she was the righteous woman who was right for Yitzchak Avinu, since he trusted the animals of Avraham Avinu not to lead him astray. Okay, now we have a segula. I'm going to skip a little bit. There's a letter written to Rabbi Yamin Pashkes with pseudonyms, of course. Dear Rabbi Yamin, our son Shmuel Simcha is an extremely bright teenager, and for the most part, he brought us a tremendous nachas as he grew up. We invested incredible amounts of time in his chinuch, and he did his best to grow into a fine Ben Torah. I cannot tell you exactly when it happened, but it seemed as if from one day to the next he found it more difficult to devote himself to learning as he had in the past. Does this sound familiar to anybody? As a result, he was drawn to a group of friends, quote unquote friends, right? That, how should we say this, were not exactly the type of boys I wanted him to be with. Of course, being with those boys had almost immediate effect on Shmuel Simcha, and his learning began to deteriorate even further, until he was a pale shadow of the Bachar he had been just a short while before. Though I thought about this and our predicament day and night, I couldn't seem to come up with a solution. How can it be that I am unable to help save my son? I asked myself over and over. But I just couldn't seem to think of anything to do about the situation. It was all the worse since my wife and I had put so much into him, and the turnaround was breaking our hearts. One day, a friend of mine told me about the Sefer Zerah Shimshon and how the author of the Sefer promised Yeshuas to those who study his work, and I decided then and there I was going to make time to learn the Sefer every single day. I know what it sounds like, one of those stories, right? But what can I do? It's the truth. My wife and I experienced a turnaround in our son's situation within a few days. I am not exaggerating in the slightest. I have no other explanation for why my son's desire for Torah learning returned, and yet it was there, stronger than ever before. From that time, he became extremely motivated. He cut off all ties with the group of friends, right? That he had been such a bad influence. There was no doubt in my mind that the incredible turnaround that I witnessed with my own eyes happened in the merit of the Zerah Shimshon and his legendary promise, which helped bring about change in all areas, both spiritual and material. I want to end my letter with a plea to all those who come across the Zerah Shimshon Sforim. Do not hesitate and do not wait. Fulfill the Tzaddik's request and do it immediately. Set aside a time to learn his holy words, and Be'ezus Hashem, you too will be zeicha to see many brachas and Yeshuas in your life. One more thing, I never forget, there is no segula like Torah learning. And that is exactly what this is. B'yedidus, and its name is a name. And in the schusa of the tzaddik, all the tzaddikim, beside the Zerah Shimshon, have their own segulais and have all their zechuyos and all their merits, especially the Zvila Rabbi, Shabi Zeicha Aleinu, the Taiva, and everybody should have Yeshuas and Nechamais and Brachais for them and their families and Gans Klal Yisrael. Have a good Shabbos, Parshas Chayai.